Yo, welcome everybody to the Pod Couple podcast. I'm your man, Uncle Freezy. I'm joined by G-Man for Life, Cornerstone Kev, soon come. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is sure to be a very entertaining hour and a half. I can't wait to hear what these guys talk about. I'm going to slide out of the way. But firstly, I want to introduce my man, Mamelo. You know him as Sergeant Knicks, a.k.a. G-Man for Life. What's good, boss?
What's good, Freaky? All's well, all's well. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the opportunity to get up here and just talk Knicks basketball. That's what we like to do. But, there's a couple other things that we're gonna dive into as well. You know what I'm saying? And definitely be in the chat. Chat participation is important to this panel. We'd like to hear what you got to say because, as you get up in age, your views may be a little skewed. You may think about things one way, and then somebody else has a different opinion. I'm waiting for my man Cornerstone to get in right now. We're having some technical difficulties going on, but he should be sliding up in here at most tick. But what's going on in the chat? Let's see who in here right now. I see Julian Blum's in here. Salute.
Hello. Kev is in the house, finally.
Finally.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go with that. Going like that, man.
Already knew.
Hey, listen.
Feel like you being late for the prom already.
Listen. You tried driving through. Well, first off, leaving work. Now, we've already discussed I leave work at 5:00.
Right.
So I was already, a few minutes late getting in to work, so I had to make up those few minutes. And then not to mention, it's raining, it's storming outside.
Here too.
Yeah. Yep. So I have to get on two major roads that have lights.
Right.
And we have these elements right here.
Right.
But needless to say, got here, in enough time, but didn't realize that when the link was sent, that it was on my phone. And we can't do a podcast from the phone. We can try and be on a panel on the phone, but we can't do a podcast from the phone.
No.
So I had to make sure I had to get Freezy to send the link, to my email so we can hit. So right, but I'm here. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. I'm just trying to get myself set and everything, and yeah, that's about it. So let's have some fun, man. How you doing?
I'm sick, but I'm
yeah,
okay.
Yes. We talked about that. You are sick. What is it? Just a regular cold or something?
I'm hoping so, but it's my wife tells me it's the.
How you gonna blame your guy, Kev? How you gonna blame your guy? I'm supposed to be your man. How you gonna blame me for being late? How you gonna blame me for being late, man?
I knew it was coming, man. I knew it was coming. I knew exactly what's coming. And before we start, Freezy, I heard you a little bit. I heard G-Man, thank you and everything. I want to thank you personally for helping us get this started. You are like the architect of so much that goes on on our podcast, and we just thank you for this opportunity and for helping us get through, because it's been a long time coming. Like Larry Graham says from Grand Central Station, it's been we've been waiting for so long. People have been waiting for so long, and now we are finally here.
Vim. There we go.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so now I'm moving out of the way. This is y'all joint. I'm getting out of the way.
Absolutely.
So now that you finished kissing up, all right.
Wow. Just remember something. I'm the leader of this, okay? I'm Michael Jackson and you Toto.
Tito.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. He didn't even get the name right. Toto was the dog off the Wizard of Oz, brother.
Hey, what did Chris Tucker said? Toto is what we had for breakfast. And for those who don't know, that was from Rush Hour 2.
Out of control.
Yes, out of control. Yeah. So who do we have in the chat here? We have our main man, Mr. Delano Steele, Jr. What's up, DSJ? We got Christian F here. We have Chef New NYK. We see you. We have Andy Garcia from Internal Affairs / Godfather 3. He probably looks better than the real Andy Garcia right now, because real Andy Garcia, he got all that gray going on and everything. So he ain't the young one.
Great. I'm just saying, you must have something. I think, you know what I think?
Hey, I shave mine off. I don't use today. What does Walcott Frazier use? Today's Man or something like that to hide his gray.
I think you got a phobia about turning gray. You shaved all your hair off and you
yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, you see any gray on Michael Jordan?
No.
Case closed. Case closed.
Michael Jordan, you were not.
Yeah. Now I wish. Hey, I'm not even 5% of Michael Jordan. So there you go. There you go. Everything. So how was your birthday on Tuesday? Right? Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, that was when I sung that Marilyn Monroe "Happy Birthday" to you.
Yeah, you
did.
Good.
Yeah. That.
I've been trying to delete that from my memory bank ever since.
You trying to delete it? What are you trying to delete it for?
Because everyone
trying to delete it.
That gives me nightmares, Kev.
Nightmares.
Look, I woke up in the middle of the night screaming. My daughter thought something was wrong with me. She's like, "What happened?" I said, Kev was trying to sing "Happy Birthday." And
Not just "Happy Birthday," but in the Marilyn Monroe voice.
Okay, think about what you just said. Think about what you just said for a second. Singing "Happy Birthday" is okay. I'm fine with it. But Kev is trying to sing "Happy Birthday" in a Marilyn Monroe voice. Now, Al Green, somebody like that, okay. But Marilyn Monroe,
that's not believable. Stevie Wonder, it was either that or Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder, I can't do the happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I can't do that. See, I'm making you choke. See? So I had to do Marilyn Monroe. See, I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that.
You are full of surprises.
Yeah, hey, happy birthday, Mr. President. That's right, DSJ. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Absolutely.
But birthday went fine.
Good.
My wife made me some enchiladas, and
nice.
It was all good.
Okay.
As you get up in age, you don't tend to want to go out and do a whole bunch of things. So just being home with the fam was good enough for me.
Right.
Here and communicate with the Knicks family. So it was
absolutely. Yeah. So let's let me just type this one thing right here, because we're gonna get into it, because there's been a lot of craziness as far as trade scenarios and stuff. Yeah, which is ridiculous. So just give me 1 second right here.
Jay Boogie, I'm not 71 years old.
Jay Boogie, no. Jay Boogie 25. So there you go. Jay Boogie 25. Listen. I've hung out with him, so I know he 25. He 25. He know it.
You give me some water right quick.
Okay, get some water for yourself. You always need water, and don't forget to take that Geritol too. All right.
I'm past the Geritol right now. All kind of stuff. Tylenol, Adderall, all that stuff. You just got a roll or a null in. I'm taking it.
All right, one more second.
Hey, salute Rick B. Salute Juju 92. Heavy Reese. Salute to
all of them.
Building. Salute.
Who's in the building? Kevin Middleton. Oh,
yes, sir.
Welcome. Hey, I'll tell you a little bit about Mr. Middleton in a minute, which was going to lead us into what we're talking about, because he was off his rocker a little bit today. I love him, but he was off his rocker just a little. You remember that movie Major League?
Yep.
Okay. And remember when Charlie Sheen first got up to the plate and everything, his first pitch. Yep. And he threw it, and it went out. It went outside, and Bucket, the announcer, was like, just a bit outside. He's I forget the whole thing, but you know what he said. And then the next pitch was like ball 4. Then the next pitch was like ball 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right. So there's been a lot of talk about one Mr. RJ Barrett. First off, I got to give him his props because he's doing work for Canada right now. Did you see any of the highlights from him, or did you see any of the game? Okay.
No.
I think what the premise is going to be for RJ is that he might start off slow in the first half, but then he'll be a monster in the second half. That's a trend that I'm starting to see, a little bit with that. So because I forget, he had like 22 points the first game, and chat if I'm wrong, correct me, but he had 22 points throughout the whole game. He only had like I think 2 or 4 points in the first half, but in the second half he had I think he had like 19.
This is talking about him playing in Canada, right?
Yes, for Team Canada. I think on Team Canada you have I know Wiggins is on there, Shea Gilchrist from
Alexander.
Yeah, he's on there, and Corey Joseph, he's on there, and I think that was it that's noticeable. Those are like the only ones that I know. There's probably more, but those are the ones that that stand out a little bit. But he had 22 points. But the move and you could tell when we talk about players that are trying to that work in the off season, he's one of them. Because when have we ever seen him throughout this? All right, so he's completed 2 seasons. Right. When have we ever seen him do a step back 3?
I haven't. Yeah, not playing with the Knicks. He hasn't.
No.
So he goes to Canada and get brand new. That's what he tells me.
Yeah. He brought that brand new. So that makes me believe that after the season finally, the playoff run, finished for him, he probably took a few days off and then went right back to the lab to work on his game and to prepare, for Canada. So.
I would like to believe everything you just said is true. I really would. I really would. But however, I believe that he does want to improve his game. And in his heart of hearts, he wants to do that. I think that he's going about it the wrong way. And this is why. And I'm all about you support your country and going out and playing ball for them and everything. That's fine. But remember where your bread is buttered at, right? So right after the game, right after the last last playoff game we had, I would expect for him to be someplace with a coach trying to figure out what's wrong with his game. Now, maybe that happened, and maybe it should improve as he's playing for Team Canada. But I would be careful in saying that's going to be an epiphany for things to come. Because you got to look at the competition level is way different than playing in the NBA, right? So
it is, but you have the competition still consists of NBA players.
It does. But you got to look at it I look at it like this. They don't get a chance to do all the scouting and everything else is going on. Because number one, you don't know who's going to show up and who's not. So how do you game plan for that, right? I am all about RJ Barrett getting his shine on. And Andy Garcia, no, I'm not an RJ Barrett hater. However,
it started already.
I think that RJ still has yet to scratch the surface. And when he does, he's going to be all that and a bag of chips. I truly. Right. But to your point, I congratulate him on the success that they had against. Who did they play? Who did Team Canada play?
They played Greece. They played Greece. That was the Greek Freaks team. Who of course he's not on there anymore, of course, and everything. No, so but yeah, I forget the second team they played against last night. They played Tuesday and then they played last night.
They televised these games?
It was on ESPN Plus, something that I do not have.
Okay.
I got Disney Plus, but I don't have ESPN Plus. So there you go.
So that shows you where your head is at. I got Disney Plus, but I don't have ESPN.
ESPN Plus.
Stop
Yeah, I have to call Verizon and tell them to add that to my package. No, that's not happening. I got 4 ESPN channels, so if I can't see it all, get it off one of those, then I don't need to have it. Everything. So there you go.
Andy Garcia, you're right. I'm maybe not as high on RJ as most Knicks fans, but guess what, brother? I love what he contributes to the team. But the only person that you will see me high on, you already know who that is. You already know who that is. That's my boy.
It's Frank. Oh, okay.
OB1. That's it.
I thought it was Frank. Hey, I could have threw out there Mr. Kevin Knox. Shout out to Hoodie Kevin.
Yeah,
but I won't.
And Chief Chef NYK says, you got to realize the RJ is team candidate. I believe that.
I believe that too. I believe it. Would you put him past Andrew Wiggins? You think he's better than Andrew Wiggins?
So you have to put that in context, right? Yeah. So first, when he says that he is team candidate, that means that when he's playing for the Knicks, he's not that guy. He's not that dude, right? So his roles change. So as your role changes, you have more opportunity to score the ball. If the offense is running through RJ, then of course RJ is going to be the man. Most definitely, and most deserved if that's what he's proved. But it depends. I've never seen those guys play together, so I'm not sure how they vibe off of one another, and that's important. That chemistry thing is important too. So I would just say that I wish RJ all the best. I hope that this that he has with the Canadian team, it transitions over when he comes back to play for the Knicks.
And I think it did, because when you think about his surrounding people, I always hear you talk about how you have to surround yourself with people that will bring you up, people that are positive in your life, people that will bring you along the way. You have I call them, like when I talk about family and friends and everything, I call them pillars. Right. They're pillars. And what do pillars do?
They prop you up, they support you.
Right. So you can go to the Greek temples or the Roman temples and everything. Things like that. Colosseums. Yeah, Colosseum. Colosseum.
I'm here for you.
You ain't got to be here for me. You ain't got to be here for me. But he has a strong foundation of pillars that are around him, because he not only. Please drink your water. Please.
Oh my goodness.
Please. Okay. Yeah. Good. Because he has his father. Well, he has his family.
Right.
He has Steve Nash.
Right.
Who's his godfather.
Right.
And then there's no telling how many other people that he has, around him. So put it this way, I am more not the word satisfied, but I'm more content with who he has supporting him and who he has in his circle than I would like a Kevin Knox. And I don't know who's in Kevin Knox's circle.
Yeah. And I think that to that point, I think that RJ has, because he has a supporting cast, I think that he's going to be able to come along a little bit faster than say a Knox or somebody else that we don't who's taking advice from, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it could be a double-edged sword too, right? So the same thing we said about Obi coming out of college. So when Obi was drafted, the word on the street where Obi was, we expected him to come out of college and be basketball NBA ready, right?
Right.
Right. Now, when that can happen,
right, you had all hell broke loose because you had by so many people. But see, it's people like you for him and me for Frank that try to help turn heads and just tell people, like, you got to give him patience, you got to give him time. And in Obi's situation, he came on. I mean, you can honestly say that in these playoffs that we just had, he was the most positive out of all the Knicks playing.
Yeah, I agree.
He was the most positive, and that's even better. It was even better than Quickly.
Yeah,
it was better than Quickly.
Now you're not what you expect for me to say, Kev. You wrong about Obi Toppin? Come on, man.
No, not at all. But you could be biased. Well, I mean, you could be biased as well.
That's a fact.
But you could be real as well.
That's a fact. So this is what I would say about Obi, right? Obi for me is this. if people look at this is why I like Obi Toppin. If you check his game and the history of his game, every level of basketball that he's ever played, he always needed that first year to get over all the humps and bumps and scrapes and whatnot, and then the next year he had a breakout season, right? So that's what this season is. This season was for Obi, right? Yeah. That plus the fact that we got to figure out where Obi fits at, because in my mind, I want Obi's. And Steph said something on Knicks on Ron's show the other night. I think you were on there. Were you on there with Steph?
I was on there in coming home.
Okay,
I got off once I got home and everything. So I didn't get to hear Steph, unfortunately.
So she always talks about his footwork, right?
Yes.
If he can get his footwork together, and I agree with that, then he could be a sure win for that number 3 position. Now, can you imagine? Whoever this guard is going to be, right? I'm not even going to throw that out there.
Yeah. Guard, so much that can, Yeah.
You got whoever the point guard is going to be. You got RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, and right now Mitch.
Yeah, we'll say Mitch.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll say Mitch.
So I think that's something to build on right now.
Well, that's a nice starting 5.
It is.
That's a nice starting 5, considering where we started from the beginning. And still keeping somewhat of that starting 5 intact. So keeping a Mitchell, keeping a Randall, and keeping an RJ in the mix. Okay, I see you looking. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at JN's comment. JN says he says trade Randall and picks for Ben Simmons. So sometimes in life, Kev, sometimes in life, what happened? Remember when you was growing up, right? When you was a little shorty around the way. Right, and you have that friend of yours that the only way he can get attention was just to do something outlandish. Everybody else is chilling, and then that one friend of yours just goes out and does something outlandish so he can get some attention. So I look at some of these comments and I'm like, okay, some of y'all have legit.
It causes you to have a migraine at times. It really does, because you ask yourself, what is the logic of what you're saying? All right. We'll say, you know what? Let's just get into it. Right. You know what? Let me close off with Obi. The one thing I'll say about with Obi is that you have to look at the optics of how he started. All right. He had no March Madness.
Right.
He had no combine. I said it right this time. Combine.
Yeah, you did. Congratulations. Good job. I'm proud of you.
I'm glad.
We're gonna practice your numbers next.
Yeah. All right. He had no combine. He had no. We had no. I'll call it summer camp, and then summer league.
Right.
So that's already 4 things right there. And then, what was our training camp? What, 2 days?
If that wasn't even training camp, that was shoot around.
That was shoot around. Okay. So he had 2 days of that. Then he gets hurt to start the season. So already that's like 6 obstacles right there. And then, of course, the argument's going to come, well, Quickly didn't have that either.
Right.
Well, not everybody develops the same way.
True.
And that's what I got to get people to understand, is that players do not develop on the same time wave as everybody else.
This is true.
I mean, you look at Kwame Brown. How many years did it take for him to develop, and he's still not developed?
And then I think what this all boils down to, right? If you ask a player how he feels about his game, unless you are, that guy, then you're gonna always say, I have things to work on to improve my game. That's the general response that you get, right?
Correct.
But where the thing comes in at is when you let outside entities and outside voices get into the conversation.
Yes.
So people will tell you that Obi should have been NBA ready coming out of college. Okay, that great, got it. But
and it affected him too when it wasn't working out the way he wanted. It was affecting him.
It did. And to your point, when you talk about a good support group, he got family there in New York. So that's his support base right there. That's right.
Those are his pillars right there. His mom, you saw his mom crying at the game 2 when everybody was chanting his name.
That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. So not everybody develops on the same wavelength.
They don't, but I expect for Obi to have a breakout season coming up.
Oh, I do too.
But I'm not going to monopolize this conversation, talk about my guy, because I can talk about Obi all day long.
Congratulations to him, and this is the last thing. Congratulations to him and Quickly for making the U.S. I'll call it the practice squad.
Yeah,
I'll call it the practice squad.
The USA select team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Uncle Freezy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so the trade rumors that we've been hearing about.
Which one? Because there's a lot of them out there.
God, yes, there are. So the main person that people have been talking about trading for is one Damian Lillard.
Yep.
Damian Lillard is 30. Is he 31 now? Or is he going to be 31?
I'm going to pull him up. You're making me do research.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I want you to talk less and do more research.
That's a good one. Oh, excuse me.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead. I'll get it.
Are we going to have to cut this short, man?
So I'm gonna make
listen. After we finish, you go straight to bed.
All right, don't worry. I am.
You go straight to bed.
Dude, you ain't got to tell me twice. I had to wake up to get on here.
You get on here.
Man. I'm telling you, this thing got me in a bad way, Kev. Bad.
I believe it. But yeah, he's 31. I don't know how many years he's been in the league and how many at the chat. If you could tell us how many years he's been in the league and what his average is, his career average is, that would be great. But as good as he is, that's stargazing. And that's what I'll say 99.9% of these Knicks fans do.
He's 31.
Stargaze. He's 31. He's 31. Okay. Do you have his career stats?
Came in the league, and he was a first round sixth pick in 2012.
In 2012. Okay.
He averages 28.8 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 7.5 assists.
Okay. All right. You know what it is? I think people see what's Chris Paul CP3 is doing right now and think that Dame can imitate what he's doing. And I think that is dangerous for the simple reason because you see what players we have that was doing work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, they didn't get you nowhere. Well, they got you to the 4th seed. They doubled your win total. We were supposed to win only under 20 games.
Right.
We doubled that. We doubled that and got you to the 4th seed. Okay.
I agree.
A lot of that was due to our young pieces.
I agree with that.
Mainly RJ, IQ. I'm gonna throw Obi in there. I'm gonna throw the seasoned vet and Randall in there.
Mm-hmm.
And your Burks, all these guys that were on one-year contracts. Let's be real. All they were doing was trying to play for a bigger contract.
Yep, they were auditioning for the next job.
For their next job. So, bottom line, they might not be with us at all. But you have 3 sure things. You have actually 4 sure things. I'll throw Kevin Knox in there, but you have 4 sure things in RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin. Those are 4 young players that we have under contract.
Right.
And you want to get rid of almost all of them for just one?
So, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I tell you that I'm not doing that if I'm the GM. And that's where you get ran out of here, right?
Exactly.
So if you go out and you get a Damian. So Damian Lillard to me is this, right? Damian Lillard is that guy actually in your town right now. I'm in Orlando. Oh, salute for our money. So when I just thought, Damian Lillard is that guy that if I made it to say if I'm not the Cavaliers, the Clippers, right, and I make it to this point in the playoffs, and I feel like I'm just one piece away.
Yes,
then that's when you go out and you get somebody like a Damian Lillard, somebody that can get you over the hump.
Correct. And
then at this particular point in his career, I have to believe that he's starting to get those championship angst as well, right? He wants a ring. He wants, and that's why we play the game. So, but for a Damian, would I like a Damian Lillard type to be on this squad? Absolutely.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I would. But I'm not about to give up the farm for a said Damian Lillard. I'm not going to do it. I'm not even almost.
Yeah. And here's the thing with me. Here's a personal thing with me. When we had the first year we got Amari Stoudemire.
I remember that.
Okay. And we had Raymond Felton as our point guard.
I remember that.
We had Gallinari.
Mm-hmm.
We had Landry Fields. I don't know why I'm mentioning Landry Fields, but at the time he okay. See how that goes. And we had Mozgov.
Right.
And we had Wilson Chandler.
Okay.
We gave up, aside from Landry and Amari, we gave up those guys, and along with a draft pick that turned out to be Jamal Murray.
Mm-hmm.
We gave up all that just for Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
And Billups came over, but we amnestied him the next year.
Hey, and that's why I think that we won't make it, especially this front office. I don't think this front office is going to make that. Those kinds of
so either.
So I don't really worry about any of that. But I would say this. I would say that I don't think that anyone, because I'm not in the offices and I don't know what these guys are discussing and what moves have already been made in the back 40 back there in the dark that nobody can see. So I like to think that as Knicks fans, we have a good pulse, a finger on the pulse of what's going on with the team. But I mean, this offseason kind of scares me just a little bit because I don't know how one move of another team. Because say for instance, right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say just for sake of conversation, say that for whatever reason, Joel Embiid decides that he no longer wants to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. And he literally picks up the phone and calls somebody in the front office and says, hey, listen, I'm trying to come play for the Knicks. What will it take? Now, that just upsets your entire apple cart because
it sure does.
When we're having these talks and making these decisions, Joel Embiid is not even a part of the conversation. But now, all of a sudden, the situations have changed, and now you got another fly in the ointment that you got to figure out. You got to figure out if it's worth going after or if it's just something you say, okay, well, thank you, but no thank you.
Right. And that's the other thing. What you just said about Joel Embiid wanting to come here. How do we know that Dame wants to come here?
We don't.
Dame has always said, at least, to us, to the media and to whoever, that he is comfortable in Portland.
Yeah.
That's where his home is. That's where his kids are.
That's a fact.
And everything. So we don't know what he's thinking. And if he really, put it this way, it's a lot of money to give somebody who doesn't want to be here.
Facts. That's a fact. And you said something that's really pointed, right? And you glossed over it real quick, but I'm going to bring you back. So think about this, right? A lot of times when we start talking about players and where they want to go and what they want to do, you got to remember most of these guys got families, right? So think about this. If somebody called you right now, somebody called Kev right now and said, Kev, I got a job for you, but the job is in Wisconsin. That means I'm going to pay you a little bit more money, but you got to uproot your entire family and move to Wisconsin. So I'm trying to, in my mind right now, try to figure out how do I come home and tell my wife, we're moving from Florida to Wisconsin? Come on, Kev. Stop playing.
Especially when you have family members that are already planted and invested in the place that you're living.
Yeah, all that stuff matters.
You can't just up and leave. I'm sorry. It can't happen.
Now, this has happened before. Now, you have some folks that'll say, okay, listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this 2-year contract out here in Wisconsin. I'm going to leave my home at home, and I'll get a little apartment out here until these 2 years is up, and then we figure out what to do after that. So there are there's room to move and kind of room to shake. It just depends. And how much money you get paid has a lot to do with it as well.
Correct.
We as basketball fans, we like to think that people play the game mostly for the love of the game. They do, but I'm telling you right now, you'll be hard pressed to get a whole bunch of guys out here playing for free.
Yeah, exactly. That's not going to happen either. Exactly. And I don't know how much his contract is, but after we had built up all this capital, all this money, just to invest it in one player and not have the flexibility to really get anybody else except on a one deal again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not trading for
I mean, it's not like it was with Miami Heat when they were able to get LeBron, Bosh,
and Wade was already
they re-signed Wade.
Yeah.
They re-signed Wade. So all that money was tied up into those 3 guys, and then they had to just start pulling people off the street pretty much. Guys that are not even in the league anymore.
Yep.
To play with them and everything. So
let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think the hiring of Chauncey Billups will have anything to impact Damian Lillard's decision to stay or go?
It's going to take a lot of talking from Chauncey Billups in order to, I believe, in order to keep him here. Now, I don't know anything about Chauncey Billups. We'll put it this way. I mean, he could be as good as Tibbs.
Right.
Or he could be just as bad as Fizdale. We don't know. Because this is his first coaching gig.
Head coaching gig.
Yeah, head coaching gig. So we don't know. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Steve Nash is a good coach?
I think Steve Nash is a good. What's the word I'm looking for? He's good at being able to call plays. Because he played the game, so he knows how to be on the floor. All
right, so now I'm going to throw this at you. Do you think he called the plays, or do you think D'Antoni called the plays?
I think D'Antoni had some impact.
Okay.
But Steve Nash had the final say of how he wanted the offense to run.
Okay.
I think that's what happened.
That's good.
But I think that Steve Nash, again, this is his first year. This is his rookie year as a head coach, right? So there are some things that you don't pick up your first year as a head coach. You're still wet behind the ears when it comes to being a coach.
That's right.
You are in a locker room with grown men that you have to go in there and motivate. You got to go in there and motivate a Kevin Durant when he had a horrible first half of shooting. So what do you go in there and tell him and expect for him to listen to you? So that head coaching, to me, it goes a lot deeper than just the X's and O's portion of it.
And here's the other thing with that: when you have a player say that we really don't need a head coach before you even get the job.
Yeah.
You are already behind the 8 ball. To this day, I still don't believe that Kyrie Irving respects Steve Nash. I really don't.
At the end of the day, and I understand you would like for everyone that works for you to respect you and everybody has a kumbaya moment to get along. Right. But you know as well as I do, as long as you got more than one person in the room and there's different personalities, there's always a potential to have a disagreement. I'm not going to agree with your views. You're not going to agree with my views. We just agree to disagree and keep it moving. So
let me ask you this. Okay, so what you just said, how come it worked with the Bulls?
How come what worked with the Bulls?
You talked about the different personalities,
right?
But everybody knew, even Scotty knew,
right?
And Robin knew that Mike was it.
You know why it worked? Because they were winning championships. Winning solves everything. Winning will keep you from not getting along with anybody. Now, let that same Bulls team start losing game after game, season after season. Then personnel change quicker. then the input that whoever's on the roster is not as poignant as it used to be. So winning cures everything. When you win a championship and you look back and say, we might not have got along all the time, but hey, we won a chip. Let's run this thing back. And that's how it goes.
Okay, and, so you look at Golden State. They were winning championships too.
Yep.
But everybody knew that Steph was the quote unquote leader, and they all listened to him. Even Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yep. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when Kyrie Irving said that we don't need a coach, and then you have Steve Nash, coming in and everything. I don't know how, as a coach, I don't know how he was able to. They get to the playoffs. They did get to the second round, and there's no telling what would have happened if there was injuries or anything. Let
me ask you this: them making the playoffs, is that a result of coaching, or is that a result of them three All-Stars that play on that team with their supporting cast?
I'm gonna go with B.
Okay, I agree.
I'm gonna go with B.
I agree.
I'm gonna go with B with what you said and everything.
When now, granted, Nash would have to make some personnel moves when Harden goes out and he's hurt, or Kyrie doesn't show up, or whatever. That injury bug hit everybody. Then you got to be able to insert pieces in there, and do things like that. But I still don't think that when we talk about head coaches, Tom Thibodeau, Greg Popovich, people like that come in. That's that seasoned person that you got out
there. Right.
Even with if we're talking about Billups, Kidd, who else just got a job? Everybody else just kind of moved around, but they just
kind of moved around. Right. I want to bring something up that DSJ said a few moments ago.
Yep.
In the chat here, he said Chauncey Billups and Damian Lillard have a great relationship already. Dame regards Chauncey as his big brother. Okay, so if that's the case, then he's probably going to stay. Then there's an I'll go 90% chance that he stays in Portland.
So let me ask you this: how many interviews or how many sound bites have we heard Damian Lillard says that he wants out of Portland?
Well, we haven't heard anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything.
So all this Damian Lillard being able to move, he may be eligible. I think he's still under contract, so we would have to negotiate for his contract.
Yes.
So what? And he makes a ton of money.
He does.
A load of money. So
and if we bring him on, that eats up everything. Yeah. So not only have we given away players, but we've given away our money.
Yeah. For one guy.
One guy. Let that, as our boy Ron says, let that sink in.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not. All right, so we're on agreement that we wouldn't do it. We'll just.
I don't believe I just agree with you on something. That's killing me right now. It makes my stomach hurt, Kev.
Well, at least it's your stomach and not your, well, go there. There you go, right there. Yeah, there you go, right there. Yeah, there it is, right there. Do you drink orange juice? Okay.
You got some of that too.
All right, make sure you get that. Let's start saluting some of these people in the chat. Oh, there you go. What kind is that?
Donald Duck. That's what it literally says, Donald Duck.
Donald Duck orange juice. I saw Donald Duck orange juice when I was out in California and we were in Anaheim, and the supermarket right across from the Disneyland property had Donald Duck orange juice.
Donald Duck got it going on in the orange juice.
He sure does. He's
breaking out.
Absolutely. Let's salute some of these people in the chat here. So Gregory Costello, we see you. Thanks for coming in. Our big man Jay Boogie, thanks so much for stopping in, man. We appreciate you. That Nick Ewing, thank you so much for coming in. E. Gibson, thank you so much for coming in. Mr. Andy Garcia. Every time I try and put a Spanish accent on a name, you're just like my wife. She always tells me to say things. She says, "Just say the name. Just say the name."
Yeah,
just say the name.
In your regular voice.
In my regular voice, yes, in my regular voice. She always makes that. Julian Blum, thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. Jermaine Royster. Jermaine Royster. Thanks for checking in. Christian F. Who else? I just was going. Troy Flett. Troy Flett sounds like Boba Fett from Star Wars. So thank you so much for checking in. And DU. Thank you, DU, for checking in. And Cuts, Kicks, and Knicks. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate and Rick V, and Eddie C. We appreciate all of you for coming in to our first show. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you see it, when we appreciate all the comments that you say, any critiques or anything, we appreciate all that. And again, we want to thank Uncle Freezy for giving us this platform. Without him, I don't know how we were, because I was trying to work on this platform and it wasn't working for me. I don't think they didn't StreamYard like me or anything. So, but we got it working right now, and we're just going to run with it. And shout out to Professional Outfit and to Adele Chapman. Thank you so much for coming in on our show and everything. So, what else can we talk about? I want to talk about a little bit more of Knicks, and then we'll get into what's going on in the NBA. So I'm excited to see what Luka's going to look like in these Olympic trials. He's working out with his Argentina down at UNLV right now. So I'm going to be interested to see what he does. And if anybody knows when those games will take place, please let us know in the chat. Greatly appreciate it. We already talked about Obi and IQ making the select team. That's going to be great for their development and for their confidence. And then we'll get to see them again once the summer league starts in August. That's going to be, real exciting for us. Who are you looking at in the draft?
Oh man, I don't have one specific person that I'm looking at.
Yeah, there's so many people. And I thank Uncle Freeze and all them for. I thank him. I thank Cuddy. I thank DSJ. I thank so many people because Sarge. Let me tell you, they've given me so many names. And I didn't bring my paper with me because I had them all written down. But some of the main ones that we saw was Trey Mann. I'm hearing a lot about. I'm hearing about the guy. His last name is Mitchell. I forget his first name. There's just so many names that are looking, and I'm seeing that we have number 19. And I forget the 21. Other. Say again. 21.
21. Yeah.
Okay, I need 21, and then 2 in the second round. One is a high second pick and everything. So Davian Mitchell, thank you, E. Gibson. Thank you so much for that. Davian Mitchell, that's one guy. So there's so many. This is a deep draft. This is a really deep draft, and there's going to be no reason for management to not have a starting point guard in there. Now, even though I'm high on Luka, I consider him a backup. So between
I don't think we're gonna get a starting point guard out of the draft. Not to come in year one and start.
Why not?
I think there are only so many Ja Morants out there that they just don't fall off the tree, right? Now, if we can get one, great. But I don't see it happening in that light because usually that caliber of player is the number 1 through number 3 pick, somewhere in there. Yeah. So after you get after a lot.
So in other words, if it's not Cade or
they're coming in and they're going straight into the learning curve process. They got to sit behind somebody and figure out what's going on.
But think about this, and Andy Garcia is saying Luke is going to be a third string point guard. He's going to surprise a whole lot of people. He's going to be second. And get my man some. That's a good one. And thank you so much. Is this our first super chat?
It is.
This is our first super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, get my man some tussin for that cough. Yes, you're going to need something. So next week, that's got to be somewhat cleared up.
Yeah.
Next week and everything.
After this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and pump up the vitamin C's and do what I got to do.
Exactly. Did it hit you? What did it hit you? It hit you yesterday or it hit you today?
Yes, you know how when you start to get sick, right? You get first you get the little tingling in the back of your throat, and then your nose starts running, and you start sneezing for no reason. So I'm thinking, I don't have allergies or nothing, so I'm thinking maybe I've been around some dust, but no. And then about 8 hours later, here comes the cough, and then you start to get the chills and all that.
Yeah, you got to wrap, and then when you're sleeping, you have the covers over you. Yep. One false move, and your body is just and you got to get up to like either go to the bathroom or wash up or do something.
You won't do that. Yeah. You won't do that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it so much, that thing. Jay Boogie says Damian Mitchell is our answer. I wouldn't put that past you, Jay Boogie. I would not. So let's ask a question into the chat. If you had to pick a point guard in this draft, who would you go with? So tell us in the chat who would you go with? So you say no to a point guard. What?
I'm not saying don't draft a point guard. What I'm saying is do not do what we did with RJ. Not RJ, with Obi, and expect for just because we draft him at a certain position that he's going to come in and be NBA ready. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think that caliber player is, and I could be wrong again, right? But I don't think you get that caliber of player coming in when you're outside of the lottery, and we drafting outside of the lottery, unless we trade up to go get someone. And I still think you're probably going to get the highest pick. You're probably going to get maybe up to 8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Salute to Shine Cubes. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. He says salute Cornerstone, salute G-Man, rocking with the show. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So whenever whoever we get, we have 4 picks. Now you got to figure that all 4 will not make the team.
Right.
You got to figure that. So I don't mind if the organization even moves those picks to move up in the draft. I don't mind that. I'm okay with that and everything. But if they want to get an established player, we are going to have to we're going to really have to examine that as far as
who we gonna get,
what we're trying to get. Right. Well, see, that's the main thing. That's the main thing.
I agree with my man E. Gibson in the chat. He says, I kind of like Book Knight, but the problem will be he'll be drafted higher than 19 and 21. So having him say that and hear what you just say, I agree with us using those draft picks to trade up to go get somebody. And I think, in all honesty, that's what we're going to end up doing because even if we drafted all four of them players, now you're talking about a team with how many rookies on it? 4 rookies off the bat, and then you got 2 second-year guys being Obi and IQ, and then
got Knox.
And then you get everybody else. But your team is young, but I mean, where I don't see that thing that's going to gel everybody together. So I think, and in all actuality, what we'll do is we'll trade up to get a decent player in the draft.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
I was just using all those draft picks for anything else.
Yeah. Who right now that we've rocked with for this year, who other than Peyton, who do you not want to see on our squad?
Honestly, I would have to say, I think that everyone on this team this year played a role.
Okay. Just
based on, what happened, the injuries that we had. Mitch went down for the season pretty much. And Nerlens Noel stepped up big time. Because I'm telling you, at the beginning of the season, he did not see himself being in that starting role the way that he had been throughout the season. Right. But then I think after we went ahead and brought in Taj Gibson, they kind of spared Noel some in there. You bring in, say, a Derrick Rose, and you get that leadership aspect from the point guard position, who's then able to kind of mentor a Quickly and an Obi. So they get
and possibly the next what you just said earlier about the draft pick that's coming in.
Yeah, that one too.
Right.
Yep, him too. I don't know what the future is going to hold for my man Luka. Haven't seen him in this culture yet, so we'll see what that looks like. But right now, unless you tell me, you have to tell me who we're
where'd you go?
We're giving up.
Oh, there you go. You like blacked out?
What happened? I know I paid my light bill.
Did you? Remember, you send all that money to for your daughter to college and everything. I don't know.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
But no, I think that if I had to pick one guy,
okay,
and I agree with DSJ, it would probably be Bullock.
Okay.
And simply because he had some good games, but his games were inconsistent more times than not. He could get me the basket when I needed him to get me a basket. Now, when he got the baskets, I was good. But I think that we can upgrade at that position. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. For me,
I see the steam coming off that head right now. It's bubbling up. Woo!
Yeah, it was supposed to be clean. I still got stubs on here and everything.
Yeah, you do.
It's supposed to be clean.
Yeah, you do.
It was supposed to be clean. I guess G-Man, I think the only one for me, was going to be Peyton. Peyton really disappointed me in so many levels. When he got here, I was really happy that he got here because I thought we were going to get the Peyton that we saw right.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
Right.
When the thing about it is, we thought we saw it a little bit last year, but this year it was like, and then you'll have some Knicks podcast people talk about, well, he's doing this. Yeah, but when we need him to score or orchestrate the offense, he's not doing that.
Right. He didn't show up.
I mean, I don't know how many times he took it to the basket and missed.
Yeah. It's a fact. I mean, I was going to say with Alfred Payton, man. I think it was more than just basketball with him. His heart wasn't in what he was doing. You could tell. Anybody that saw him that had like the NBA ticket where they're still showing you the court as in the other commercials, so you don't have to watch the commercials. I just watched kind of the stuff that Payton would do, and the team is sitting here. He's sitting way over here. The coach got to go and bring
Jay Boogie, and I'm going to shout out Jay Boogie right here. He said, Cornerstone, you look like Freddie in the movie Superfly, the real Superfly with Ron O'Neal. My man. I love Jay Boogie. But Jay Boogie and I, him and his brother, we were there, and we saw it front and center where the team was here, and he was over here.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah. Imagine if you're the assistant coach and you're listening to what Tibbs is telling everybody, and everybody's drooped around, and you look over and he's sitting by himself.
Yeah. That tells you all you need to know right there.
All you need to know. That's why he's one guy that I will not be sorry or feel bad that he's not on the team anymore.
So what happens if you bring him back?
If he brings him back, I honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I honestly don't. I mean, we've gone up and down. We've been on record. Ron's been on record to everybody that we trust this front office.
Yeah.
When have we said that? We always walked with him, but we never said. What was it that was said in Godfather 2? When Pantangeli was talking with Michael Corleone, he said, "Your father did business with Hyman Roth. Your father respected Hyman Roth, Like he never trusted
Yep.
Hyman Roth. That's the same with us. We ran with Steve Mills. We ran with Phil Jackson. We ran with I forget who was before them. We ran with those guys, but we never fully trusted them. These guys right here, I trust them. So to your question, if they did do that, I'd have strong doubts, but they probably know more than I do right now of why they're doing it. But I would question the contract. And of course I would question why are they doing it?
Yeah, I don't think he wouldn't get he probably would get some type of deal that it wouldn't be a straight up deal.
Yeah,
prove it something or another, but
absolutely.
I don't even want to think about that because that would definitely keep me up at night.
Oh, absolutely. It kept everybody else at night when it happened.
Real.
We were like, they did what?
For real. Hey, salute to my man Tone Wu. I see him in the building.
Oh, Tone Wu. What's up, Tone Wu? Absolutely.
Go to the Knicks podcast.
Absolutely. So I just want to say that we have 68 people watching, and we thank you so much for watching. But we only have 56 votes. So by the time this podcast is finished,
Kev.
Yes, sir.
They're not votes, Kev. They're called likes. I'm gonna send you a cheat card, right? We're turning off cheat card, like thumbs up, like.
Thumbs up, yeah. We want to hit those. As my man, Mr. CP from Knicks Fan TV says, hit those likes for your boys. Hit them. Let's get those likes up, all right? Because we're at 69 right now. I mean, we're at 57 right now, and there's 69 people watching. Let's get them up. Okay. All right, so now we're going to switch from the Knicks right now and talk about what's going on in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns are in the NBA Finals. When was the last time that the Phoenix Suns were in the NBA Finals?
1992. It's been a hot minute.
93.
93. I was a year off.
Year off. Yeah. And I think they have a superb chance of making it to the of winning this whole thing. They have a superb chance. If they win this, what will they say about CP's career?
Oh, just the only thing he needs is he didn't really need a ring to solidify his career, but this is just icing on top. The only thing he has not done is win a championship. That's it. He's done everything else there is to do as a point guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
The thing that's lacking with him right now is having a ring. Now, what's about to happen? Next conversation that you're gonna hear out there as the playoffs go on and we get into the finals and whatnot. Now is CP the best point guard of all time? That's gonna be the next question you hear. Watch. Because I already got a glimpse of that today. I was listening to somebody and they were talking about. Let me clarify, right? When I say point guard, I mean a pure point guard. I'm not just talking about somebody that plays at the point guard position. The purest of pure point guard, and there's only a couple of them out there.
Who's your couple?
We got Magic. Who else was out there? CP.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah, Thomas. See, they're so few and far between. I don't even know who would be a pure point guard in this era.
In this era?
Yeah. Other than CP3.
I wouldn't throw it in.
That's a question to the chat. Hey, y'all can chime in here. Who was one of the purest point guards?
And this
John Stockton. Stockton. That's what I forgot.
Oh, John Stockton. Yeah. John Stockton. Yeah.
Good call there, Gregory
Castillo.
Ooh, boy.
You know who could have been, even though he did win a championship, but I'm sorry. I was a huge Jason Williams fan. I was a huge Jason was a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that those Sacramento teams didn't win one, with him, because I thought he was a superb. Oh, Jason Kidd.
Steve Nash.
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of guys out there. So even just off that list,
Gary Payton,
the glove, Gary Payton,
and Steve Nash.
So there's some guys out there, but I'm telling you, the question is going to come up because what NBA fans have very revisionist history, right? Yeah. So we forget, all the, and some people are not history buffs, so they don't pay attention to what went on in the past. In the past, they just focus on here and now. So Delano says no, CP3 is not the best point guard of all times. There's so many to name. Bob Cousy, Tiny Archibald, Jason. Payton. I agree with you.
Yeah, we agree with you totally, DSJ. You're totally right.
But that's not what the narrative is.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, a lot of these media people have so many narratives that get thrown out there that sometimes I don't know if they believe what they're saying at times. I really don't.
It's all clickbait.
That's all it is clickbait. That's all it is.
Refuse, so they're not going to get up there and talk about anything. Okay, so if it's something that's going on that's meaningful to the fans, they might gloss over it. So even when the Knicks first started winning, they would get an honorable mention for about 10 seconds. Oh yeah, the Knicks beat such and such, and they move on to the next topic. They don't talk about who was a high scorer or none of that. They just hit it and gloss over. Hit it and gloss over. Right. That's why I try not to spend too much time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I have to ask you. Did you watch the game last night? Did you watch the whole game last night?
I didn't watch that. I was sick.
Okay, that's right. You were sick. Yeah, you're still sick, but it's okay.
Let that one go. Let that one go.
Did you see any of the highlights of what happened with Patrick Beverly and
I saw that. Yes.
What was your initial on that?
Childish.
Yeah.
I'm not winning the game, so I'm gonna take my basketball and go home. And actions like that have second and third order effects, right? So some GM someplace, if Patrick Beverly is looking for a job later on, and it may not be the only thing that keeps him from going someplace, but somebody's gonna look at that and say, if he can do that in game in the championship game on national TV because he's not winning and things are not going his way, what does that say about the culture that he's gonna bring in my locker room? Or is he going to be a person that disrupts the culture in my locker room? So that was very
that was very out of pocket. That's the new word now, out of pocket. Yeah. That was very out of pocket. You take that's why I love our team so much. No matter how bad we played and the Hawks quote unquote outclassed us or whatever. Yeah. At the end of the day, we said good game, good luck in it, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. That was just when I first and I saw it live too. I saw it live last night.
It happened,
So that was totally what happened was when the angle that they showed of when CP was walking away, he looked at him and then walked away, and then you saw Beverly moving over, and then it just cut.
Right.
It just cut, went to commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came back, and everybody was like still bunched up.
Right.
And once they showed it, I said, "Oh my God! I mean, come on, man! That could have been a recipe for a disaster for CP."
Yeah, absolutely.
That could have been a recipe for it, because I was telling Freeze this today. Did you ever see that movie $1 Million Baby with Clint Eastwood? Okay, remember the scene where Hillary Swank had beat up the girl, and the bell rung, and she turned around, was starting to walk to her thing, and then that girl came from behind and hit her from behind and paralyzed her.
Yep.
That had all those ramifications. Had ramifications like that, and I would not be surprised if he does, as you say, have a job next season. He might get suspended 4 or 5 games for that.
Yeah. And I saw somebody in the chat a few minutes ago said he apologized, but that apology is forced. Somebody said either you go and apologize or you get fined or whatever the case may be. But that's neither here nor there. That kind of behavior.
And even if you want to say that CP acted or whatever when he fell down and everything, no, that was a push. That was a push. He pushed him in the back.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm walking, and somebody pushes me from the back, and I fall and everything. That was totally out of pocket. And DSJ goes, Beverly injured Westbrook, broke Booker's nose, and now pushed Paul out. Yeah, I mean, those things add up.
Yeah, that's history. One time may be an accident, but more than once, that's a pattern.
Say that again. Say that again.
You do it once, it may be just off the whim, but if it was more than once, you develop a pattern.
It's a pattern.
We can see that happen again and again.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see it. I don't know, Chat, can you tell us if he's a free agent or not this year? Coming up, because it will be very interesting to see who actually picks him up and everything. So that'll be interesting.
Well,
so go ahead.
Some teams have a spot for that type of player on the squad, right? So you need that guy coming off the bench that's going to just disrupt everything. You're not necessarily there for points, going out and score points or assists. You got 6 fouls to give. I expect you to foul out of the game, right? Not saying that they're advocating anybody to be a dirty player, but that's what they're there to get under the next person's skin.
Right. And believe it or not, whenever we play like a Houston or a Clipper, whenever he's on there, I always look for that to see who he's going to antagonize, for us and everything. You know who else is like that a little bit?
Who?
Crowder. Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder?
Yeah. He's another, quote unquote tough guy, as they say. So
but that's what we need. We need a tough guy.
Yeah.
We don't have a tough guy right now.
We don't have one.
We don't.
Well, we did. We just traded him last year in Morse.
Oh yeah. We definitely need a tough guy.
Yeah. We need a tough guy. So,
the word on the street is that the Pacers might go after Ben Simmons.
Let him. Let him.
You don't want no parts of that, kid?
I don't want any parts of that. Could you see us? I mean, we barely have hair right now.
Oh yeah.
If he's at the free throw line and we're trying to win whatever in the playoffs, come on.
Yeah. No.
Come on. I can't deal with that.
Again, people say that you are who you say you are. His play has shown us who he is the whole time he's been in the season. Right? He's never been a shooter.
Oh, he shot against us when I went to the game last year when we played Philly. I was at that game and he decides to take a 3-point shot and it goes in. I'm like, really?
For whatever reason, we always generate non-3-point shooters when they play against the Knicks.
Yes.
There's always somebody coming off
the problem with that? What is that?
That happened more than once. Because who played Atlanta? I forget who came off the bench and torched us for like 30-something points. I forget who that was. But when the people
take your pick. I mean, you got Bogdanovich. You got
it's probably that's what it was.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to do that for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. Right. So you just segued into Atlanta. How do you feel about this Atlanta team?
I mean, they are the same team that we played, right? I think that a lot of the credit needs to go to Nate McMillan because this is the same group of guys. I mean, they may have brought 1 or 2 pieces in, but for the most part, it's the same group of guys. They just got a better style of play. Different people were getting more shine than others, and then Trae Young stepped up to be Trae Young when he needed to, Mr. Meatmeat, as Jay Boogie called him.
There are a couple of players that I'm really surprised at their play. Believe it or not, one is Capella, because Capella came from that Houston team,
right? That
had Harden in all them, and now you're starting to see what it looks like when he's on a legit team with a legit superstar in Trae Young. I don't think he was getting the notoriety in Houston as he's getting right now. He's giving all the bigs the business, whether if it was New Orleans Noel for us or Joel Embiid for Philly. He's giving the business to the Greek Freak and Lopez. He's given the business to him, so he is legit. So whenever contracts come up for him, he's going to earn that money. But I got to give credit to that whole team between Bogdanovic. My favorite player on that team is Kevin Herter. Oh my goodness. But this is why we go back to trying to get quality players in the draft. He was a quality player in the draft, and that he wasn't a high draft,
right?
But he was he's one of those quality players that fits for that team. I love the kid Herter. He's athletic. He can hit the three. He plays superb defense. So you look at him, and Jason Collins. I don't know what they're going to do with Jason Collins either. But what do you think?
It's all going to be predicated on where they finish the season at. So if they make it to the they make it to the chip, then you have a tendency to kind of want to keep folks in the same position they're in, and maybe add a piece. And that goes the same situation I was talking about when we started this off, when I said Damian Lillard is that piece when you're right there, and you need that extra piece to get you over the hump, to get you to a championship or win a championship. That's how I kind of look at Atlanta now.
Jason Collins, yeah.
So at the same time, were these teams and people will say, they always say, this team was this year in the NBA, there were a lot of injuries, right?
Yeah.
But when you do the statistical data, and when you look at the statistical data, it was actually down like 2% from other years. But because of the people that are getting injured, it's more notoriety out there. So, and then you also make the argument that they didn't get a chance to prepare like they would in the previous years because they started the season early, get those Christmas games in there and whatnot. But just based on the teams that are in, we know that the Suns are in the finals now.
Yes.
Now we got to figure out if it's going to be the Hawks or the Bucks is going to make it. But I think at this point, depending on who makes it, I have to see who gets there first.
Yeah, I'm tending to believe that without the Greek Freak, unless Middleton and who's the point guard? Who's the point guard for them? Drew Holiday. Yeah, Holiday. Unless they play out of their minds. Also, I'm gonna throw Lopez in there. Unless those three play out of their minds, I really seeing the body of work that the Atlanta Hawks have done in these playoffs. That's why I tend to believe that they're going to play against Phoenix. So I am picking Atlanta over them right now. Okay. If the Greek Freak does come back, I would give them a chance. I would give them a chance to try to win 2 straight against them. But
he's ruled out for the next game.
He's ruled out for the next game as well.
Yeah. So
I'm picking Atlanta for this one. Yeah. And it's amazing because I don't know when the last time, maybe the chat knows this. When was the last time that the Atlanta Hawks were in the NBA Finals?
Whew.
You know,
it had to be back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
When
like the 60s, right? 60s or even 50s, probably.
Not that far back.
I think so. In the NBA Finals, not winning a championship.
Oh, okay.
Not winning a championship, but just in the thing. Oh, and Andy Garcia, he says Bobby Portis masterclass today. That's another guy that's got to play out of a. It's amazing how he's doing this for them and didn't do this for us last year.
He always goes someplace else and show out.
And then show out and everything. So, but yeah, I think that Atlanta, that Hawks team. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win. Now, I'm not picking them against Phoenix. Right. I'm not doing that at all. I think it'll be a fun series because I was talking to when I was on Freezy's show earlier today. I said that what'll be interesting is to see how Ayton plays against Trae Young once Trae Young gets into the paint.
Wow.
What are you looking at? Okay.
Right. Lewis NBA championship 1958.
I was right.
play in 57, the 60s, and 61.
Told you.
Wow. I think that one. Wow.
Yeah, and thank you, E. Gibson. He says they were called the St. Louis St. Louis Hawks. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so that's going to be like I said, it's going to be interesting how Ayton plays Trey when he breaks the gets into the paint,
right?
Because Trey has got the floater.
Yep.
And then when you come out, I don't know how he's able to do it, but he's able to get that ball up so that either Capella or Collins can get that alley-oop.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's the biggest thing that they're going to have to overcome. To your point, is not having Giannis in the game and have to make that adjustment.
Yes.
So I think that the rest of the season is going to be predicated off if they can make that adjustment or not. If they can adjust to something where you get Middleton involved and have him have a 30, 40-point game, you're going to be in trouble. Bottom line, you're going to be in trouble.
And here's the other thing. What does Clyde always say? You make your name in the regular season, but you make your fame in the playoffs.
Playoffs, yep.
So there's one player on that Bucks team that was killing it in the regular season, killed it against us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his name is Trent Forbes.
He ain't showed up in the playoffs.
Case closed. He has not shown up. He has not. And that's disturbing. That's really, really, really disturbing, because they could depend on you to hit those 3-point shots. You ain't got really nothing else.
Yeah, that's fine.
You ain't got nothing else. So it's that's amazing. That's amazing. So what are you laughing at?
Alan Wise said, G-Man for life. Knox just got traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh my goodness. Y'all on fire tonight.
They are. Okay, so this last segment, we got 9 minutes left. This last segment, we're gonna ask the chat. Each one of us will pick a question from the chat. Any question y'all want to throw at us, go right ahead. Just throw at us and go pick.
You can't be that liberal. No, give me a topic. I need a topic.
Oh, you need a topic.
Yeah, give me a topic.
Okay.
Close that window in just a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, then you pick the topic then. What do you want them to ask?
Let's see. Tell me how you guys feel about. Do you think the hiring of David Fizdale is a good thing or a bad thing as an assistant coach for the Lakers?
Yeah, that's all he can be right now, because I truly believe that he will never. Well, I can't say never, but because there will always be a sucker out there. There will always be a sucker out there, so I won't say never. But yeah, that's pretty much all he's going to do. And honestly, being truthful of where he's going,
mm-hmm.
I think LeBron had something to do with that as well.
You think so?
I think so. I think so.
And it's interesting that you got that take, right? Because I was thinking about this earlier today. Most of the jobs that people get anywhere, not just in the NBA, are predicated on relationships, right?
Yeah.
So whoever's been on these, even when you look at the hiring of Jason Kidd, and
Chauncey Billups.
There was some relationships going on in there someplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Fizdale, to me, the hiring is what they're trying to do right now is trying to rebuild his character, because the last thing anybody knows about David Fizdale was his time as head coach of the New York Knicks, and we all know how that ended. That didn't end well.
Sure
that his resume is jacked up right now.
It is.
If you put him with a LeBron and that crew, thinking that they can get back to the finals, and he'd be able to associate himself with that particular group of men, then that may help to elevate or at least get him out of the doghouse. He ain't gonna elevate him. It'll bring him back up to even more, right? And then somebody may look at him and say, "Hey, listen, I got this new franchise that we're opening up, the starter team that we're opening up, and you're probably about the cheapest guy I can get with some experience, and it won't make us look too bad if we don't do well, because we're just starting up. Are you interested to be a head coach? Yeah, he's gonna take the job. That's just an example. So Fizdale, if you're watching, congratulations, right? You know, you got to take advantage of all this. Every opportunity you can get, you got to take advantage of it because you boogered up the opportunity you had with the Knicks, and we still struggling from that right now today.
Absolutely. I think the main malpractice was when he tried to make Moutier the starting point guard.
The main what? You said the main male?
The main malpractice. Yes, that was some real malpractice with that. When he said we're gonna get you right, I was like, I don't even is Moutier even in the league? I don't think he's in the league.
No. If he is, he should be. I don't think he is. No.
You look at that draft. That was the Porzingis draft. Again, that was the Porzingis draft. You look at that. You got Karl-Anthony Towns, who's still with the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
You got Russell, who was drafted by the Lakers, but is already now, I think, on his fourth team.
Yeah.
You got oh God. Oh.
They say Moutier was playing overseas.
Yep. All right, DSJ, because it seems like DSJ would know. Either DSJ or somebody else in the chat. Who was the third pick in that draft with Towns and Porzingis and all them? Who was the third pick?
What year was the draft that you're talking about?
I think that was 15 or 14. I think it was 15.
Keep talking. I'm looking.
I'm trying to. Oh, Jahlil Okafor. I don't even think he's in the league now. I really don't. And then fourth was Porzingis, and Mario Hezonja was in that draft too. He's not even in the league. And we talked about Moutier, and I'll give you the icing on the cake. Justin Winslow. He was supposed to be the man for Miami. And he didn't even. I think he's out the league.
Man, it's a lot of, and I think people underestimate how hard it is to be successful.
Yes,
in the NBA, right? So just because you were drafted doesn't mean that you're going to be successful.
Yes. Now, in that whole draft, guess who's in the finals? Okay. Christopher M says Winslow's with Memphis. Okay. Get Devin Booker. Look, that was sinking.
He is in the NBA Finals right now.
The NBA Finals. Okay. Oh yeah, and Okafor is with the Pistons. But let's be real. Will they be on their respective teams next year?
Well, Okafor was drafted by the Sixers.
Yes.
And then traded to
the Pelicans.
The Pelicans.
He was with the Pelicans in one stint.
Oh, wow.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat. I think he was with the Pelicans and then went to the Pistons. Okay. Yeah.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with these guys. And everything. But here's another one for you. You're gonna love this one. So we said about Booker, right?
Yep.
Cameron Payne was in that draft too. And the both of them. And yes, thank you, DSJ. Okafor was a Pelican. He was a Pelican.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a lot of that draft was like, I think half those guys are going to be out the league.
Be civilized. And I'm thinking the same thing. Revisionist history, right? Excuse me. Be civilized says we took Porzingis over Booker.
Yeah.
What were we thinking? What in the world were we thinking? That is crazy.
Oh man! And since we brought up Payne, real quick, would you have let's say that we don't go with your premise. You said that no rookie unless they really, really show out like a John Morant. No rookie's really going to be our starting point guard.
Right.
Okay, so if we don't get the plan A point guards, and your plan A's are like your Damian Lillard, your Lonzo Balls, your we even talked on Ron's show. We talked about trying to get who's the point guard for in